For many years, the most popular look for denim jeans has been the distressed, antiqued, or damaged look achieved by localized sanding. Sanding can be done with an industrial sandblaster or power tools, or by hand with sandpaper. The goal is to create varying levels of abrasion throughout the garment. The most abrasion is often applied to those areas that would normally wear or fray over many wearings. Hand sanding is a tedious, strenuous, and time-consuming job. Technique must be perfect, or unwanted inconsistencies in the worn pattern can occur. To ensure consistency, workers usually follow a visual standard, a garment whose patterns they replicate. Many manufacturers also mark the boundaries of the areas to be sanded with chalk. The boundaries may be either stenciled on or measured. To hand sand a garment, workers use the same types of tools used by carpenters, body shop workers, and other industrial technicians. A common sanding tool is the sanding block or palm sander, which is often homemade to fit a particular employee's preferences. To prepare for hand sanding, sandpaper is placed on the sanding block. Sandpaper comes in different grits, or number of sanding points per square inch, which ranges from 100 to 600. The higher the grit number, the finer the sandpaper, and the less aggressive the sanding. The lower the number, the coarser the sandpaper, and the greater its sanding capabilities. Let's take a look at some hand sanding. This worker is sanding the right hip pocket area. Notice the dust mask he's wearing. Hand sanding generates both fiber and grit dust, so operators must wear masks. Frequent cleaning of the sanding area is also important. Now he's sanding under the hip pocket of the right pant leg, touching up the hard-to-reach areas around the pocket and the inside of the leg. He has already sanded the front of the pants, as well as the upper thigh. You may have noticed that in both cases, the operators are sanding jeans placed on a pneumatic or inflatable mannequin. This helps keep the jeans expanded and unwrinkled and makes it easier to accurately reproduce the desired look. The pants are loaded onto the deflated mannequin legs, and the legs are inflated. Once sanding is complete, the legs are deflated again for easy pant removal. Inflatable mannequins can be made for either vertical or horizontal operation. Some operators find horizontal mannequins easier to work with since they don't have to stretch to reach the upper part of the jeans. Some mannequins can also be raised and lowered or rotated so that both sides of the jeans can be sanded from the same location. While some mannequins are for pants, others are for jackets. Still others can be converted for use with either pants or jackets. Such quick-change mannequins offer great flexibility for sanding, permanganate brushing, or laser techniques. While most hand sanding is done on mannequins, accent sanding on many premium styles is done on a narrow workbench or flat table. Some areas that are hard to reach by machine sanding methods are also done this way, as are garments with an overall wrinkle effect. These garments are free-form sanded by hand. The sanding abrades the high areas of the garment, enhancing the wrinkled effect. Another traditional technology for abrading denim is sandblasting. In sandblasting, blasting sand or aluminum oxide is pumped under pressure to locally abrade the garment. The stream of sand can cover a range of areas from wide to pinpoint. The entire front of thighs to mid-knee can be sandblasted, as can the back of the pockets to mid-thigh. Fine sandblasting can create effects on the wallet, as well as whisker lines across the upper thigh and creases behind the knee. Whiskering often uses templates to ensure that the sandblasting is correctly placed. Sandblasting can also be applied in different degrees. For example, the entire jean can be lightly sanded, while specific areas can be heavily sanded. The greatest advantage of sandblasting over hand sanding is speed. This is true whether the area to be abraded is small or large. Sandblasting also has some disadvantages, including inconsistent effects, greater messiness, and the danger of wearing out the fabric if the sandblasting is not properly done. Perhaps the greatest disadvantage to sandblasting is the protective garments and breathing apparatus sandblasting workers must wear. The protective garments can be hot and uncomfortable, and the mask makes it hard to see. To precisely abrade specific areas of denim garments, power tools are often used. Here, a worker sands the bottom edge of a pant cuff with a rotary sander designed for conventional grinding, but converted for denim finishing. The high-speed sanding drum is ideal for heavily sanding various edges of a garment, such as the cuff, top of waistband, and edge of the fly. Some cuff grinders have only a small slit through which the abrasive wheel touches the cuff. This allows for even more precise abrasion. Some garment areas are too small or hard to reach with a rotary grinder. These areas can be abraded with a Dremel-type grinder. Dremel tools can abrade such small areas as waistbands, pocket openings, side seams, belt loops, and flies. Dremel tools are air-operated and can accommodate a wide range of abrasive attachments. Sanding wheels are used most often, with varying grits of sandpaper.